Three, two, one, go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Forest podcast, a podcast from Puerto Rican friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. This is a special episode.
May the
4th
fourth be with
be
you.
with you. What an exciting day.
Always.
One of the best days of the year.
It might be like, who cares about
Yep.
Christmas? Who cares about the holidays? Who cares about
It's May the
July
4th.
4th? It's May the 4th. Oh my
And then
God.
obviously our Disney overlords decided to give us the sweet,
gift, the
sweet
gift.
present, which is Visions Season 2.
Technically,
it
it's
released.
Visions. Technically, it's Visions and Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures. But
Right.
I mean, even though we're excited for Nubs because we are gonna live in the Nub supremacy for the time being, we were considerably more excited for Visions Volume 2.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it's ever since it was an I mean, because Visions Volume 1 was one of those surprises that we didn't know we needed, that we didn't know
You
we
didn't.
wanted.
I did. I was
Well,
very
true,
excited
true,
about
true,
Vision
true.
Season 1. Don't discount my excitement about that one from the beginning. I called it. I called it
I
was going to be amazing.
I will always be open to Star Wars, but being a non-anime fan, for me, I was like, well, I don't know what this could mean. So I was cautious of not cautious. I was looking forward to it, but I didn't really know what to expect, right? Because it's not a genre that I
And then
particularly
you were blown away.
connect with, and I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I think it's some of the best things that Lucasfilm has produced. Not to say that Lucasfilm has really been producing bad things. It's like everything's been good, but like this, kind of rises to the top. So Visions Volume 2, once it was announced, and they announced that the scope of it would increase from just Japanese anime studios to studios from around the world. That,
Multicultural perspectives.
multicultural perspectives, which is something that we had talked about. Like on the podcast when we were discussing Visions Volume 1, it's like how cool would it be to see other cultural points of view?
know.
And then here we are. Let's see. Lucasfilm listens to us. Like
Some responsible speculation actually comes true.
some responsible speculation comes true because the Lucasfilm executive producers, who we will talk about them in a couple of minutes, listen to us, and this is why Volume 2
Right.
exists, because they listen to the Triad.
It's all thanks to us.
It's all thanks to us. I will have the Triad take all the credit for this because it's the only thing that makes sense, frankly. frankly. But yeah, then at Star Wars Celebration London panel for Visions 2 was incredible. Like you could absolutely feel the passion that all these creators had, and the joy and fun that all these shorts have. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal to be like at that panel and to see like where Vision started, like in one of the smaller stages in Celebration Anaheim, and then see that now they were like at the Galaxy stage, and now in London they were in the main Celebration stage. It's just absurd to see how much it has grown and how much hunger all of us have had for storytelling like this.
And it makes it so exciting because aside from the fact that yes, we have this multicultural perspective, we have these studios from across the world. I am partial to anime, so I didn't really think that they were going to be able to top season 1, and I was happily surprised. I'm not going to say it was actually better because they're different. They're different things. They're just like amazing. I mean, this one, me and Goose here at the Triad had the luck of watching it before they were released, and you're gonna get to watch them today because
Thank you,
again,
Lucasfilm.
May the
Yes.
4th be with you. And I was crying through probably half of them. So
They're good.
and
They're good. Yes.
they're good, and then it adds so much to see because anime obviously has its different nuances and different styles of animation, but you know it's still anime.
Right.
And this time around, you can see all these different ways to tackle animation. We see like the claymation, or not necessarily it's done stop motion, but it looks like it anyway. You see very flowy line arts. We see just some more just like really old school looking animation, and all of it, especially the Spanish studios. I love that you can hear their accents coming through the whole
Oh
time,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and a lot of just what that cultural view of what Star Wars is. And the themes are always there:
Mhm.
family, droid relations with humans, the
The dark side.
dark
Mhm.
side, light side, how you evaluate them, choice versus fate. But to see how the different cultures see it,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
see the background, the storytelling in the way they do it coming through is really special. So I think the season just makes me want season 3, 4, 5, 6, and just
Yeah,
keep them coming.
100%. It's one of those things that like, and precisely because it's non-canon and like anyone
Hmm.
can do whatever they want, and it doesn't have to have like a cohesive structure to the season because each episode is standalone. Hence the nature of an anthology series. I think like we really could definitely use a lot of this, and the possibilities are just endless.
Endless.
It's so there's so much that Visions can achieve that definitely I am 100% on board on the Visions hype train, and just give us more, because there's so many different avenues that
Yeah.
Visions can just traverse through. Because for example, season one with the Ninth Jedi or the Village Bride or Ronan, like Ronan obviously had the book that was published afterwards that continues the
Yeah.
story, but like there's those are stories that you could also like do sequel episodes to, or maybe even
Yeah.
a spin-off or a short film or something, so that Visions can start being a little more grand in its scope than just like these 15-minute shorts. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. uh,
Which are already grand to begin with. If they're grand in just
which are
15 minutes,
already exactly
imagine.
like they've done such a good job exactly in 15
Yeah.
minutes giving us
Mhm.
so much nuance and wonder and storytelling that it's just
And it really
impressive.
shows you the heights that animation can get to, because I feel like sometimes we ignore
Mhm.
animation, like keep it a little bit on the back
I think
compared to everything else.
we're living through a
Yeah.
renaissance
To a
of
renaissance of animation.
animation
Yeah.
for sure, and not just with
Yeah.
not just in Star Wars, but like I
Yeah.
think the industry as a whole has seen like a renaissance where like, and even before Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, I think there was like
Yeah.
a lot of really good animation that was coming out, like the Mitchells versus the Machines and Spider-Man to the Spider Verse. Obviously now
Oh yeah.
the Spider Verse sequels coming out, but there's been like a lot of really good
I mean, honestly, the
animation
best
coming out. Yeah,
DC ever did was the animated stuff.
exactly. So like
So
it just
yeah.
shows the power, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I really like about Visions is not just the
Mhm.
storytelling for Star Wars stories, but also opening us as fans to all these other animation studios that we maybe.
And what animation can do and bring to the table, and how
Yeah,
different it can be, because not all animation has to look the same. And the
exactly.
fact that you have all these creators doing these amazing things. Ahí se me fue el español, perdona.
It happens. It happens.
Um, and it's so out of the box. And
Mhm.
Star Wars to begin with is supposed to be out of the box, and then to have it imbued with this extra magic that Visions does, I think is quintessential Star Wars. And
100%. And
there you
Volume
go.
2, I know Volume
Yeah.
1 resonated with you a lot because you're a big anime
Yeah,
fan, but for me,
I
Volume
know.
2 resonated
Mhm.
a lot. Like for me, Volume 1 was a 9 out of 10, but for me, Volume 2 was an 11 out of 10. Like for me, it just knocked it out of the
Ramped it
park.
up.
Like I loved every single episode because
Yeah,
they're all wildly different and they all
yeah,
stylistically are beautiful. And it's so good. It's so good. In the Stars was the one that I was looking forward to the most because that's the punk robot uh, uh,
yeah.
short by Gabriel Osorio from Chile. So obviously it holds a special place in my heart because I remember the day before. Monday, which was the day that the panel for Star Wars Visions happened, we had like our triad panel, and at that triad panel, if you haven't listened to it, please go listen to it right now. It's
Yep.
available on YouTube, anywhere podcasts can be found. But as one of the things we discussed there was the need to see more stories that talk about the Latin American experience of colonialism and displacement and all these things, and how great it would see like in this post Andor world to see like more stories that tell that story that is relevant to us culturally. And then it was so wild to then all of a sudden the next day have Gabriel Osorio, stand on that stage and then say those almost exactly those exact same words and say that that's what his episode on Vision was going to be about was like all my emotions were just like it was a floodgate of emotions. And
And
ever
that one
since
had
then,
me crying like a little
exactly, and ever since then that was the one I was looking forward to the most. And then when I saw it, I was a mess. It was so good. Like it was that was my favorite of the shorts. I mean, I think every single short is incredible. There was just one that I didn't connect with the most. But maybe we'll get to that
but I
in a
actually
different
liked it,
episode.
so
And you
who
liked
knows?
it. So I mean, that's not it's not that I didn't like it. It's not that I didn't connect with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I think all of them are great, but there was only one that I
yeah.
really didn't connect with. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the short of it. Like, I don't want to bore anybody with like a long-winded review. I think it's more of an impression
Yeah.
of our Star Wars Visions Volume 2 premiere for May the
Please
4th.
watch it.
But you know, but we wanted to like as a little gift from us and Lucasfilm, we wanted to like discuss something else that kind of happened that actually also has to do with Visions Volume 2. I don't know Annie, if you want to pitch what we're gonna see next.
Well, the triad again, lucky, very, very
Very, very
lucky
lucky.
to
Hashtag blessed.
to get to interview some of the people responsible for Vision Season 2. And it's a short interview, but it's really cool. It's Goose talking straight on. It's not a round table where like it's the one question lost in the
Yeah.
middle. You actually got to talk to
Finally, it's
these
just us.
yeah, you got to talk to these creators, and apparently they're very impressed in how you described the season, and they kind of quoted you back, which
I
was
yeah,
really cool to listen to.
I did my best writing that
You got
question down.
inspired.
Yeah, we were very very lucky to be able to talk to Josh Rhimes, James Waugh,
Mhm.
and Jacqui Lopez, who are the executive producers of Visions, both Volume 1 and Volume 2. So that was fun. That was fun to talk to them. It was very late during the day, so I think they were like a little bit tired. So so
Probably heard the same questions over and over and over
probably
again in
heard the
different
same question.
iterations of it.
I even
Yeah,
acknowledged it because the last question I will admit, guys, I even my last question, I was just like,
yeah,
because you know they tell you 10 minutes, and then they're like, oh, it's gonna be less than 10 minutes, so you're kind of
yeah,
rushing and trying to like get everything in.
yeah,
So it was a scramble, and then for the last one, I
yeah,
was just like, even I, as I was saying, like,
yeah.
everyone's
Just do
asking
it.
this one,
It's fine.
but I did it, but I did it. But yeah, it was a really fun interview with these great creators that like helped shepherd this show and these two volumes, and hopefully
Yeah,
will bring us
yeah.
more of
And
this
especially it
in the
is,
future. Yeah.
even if they were tired at that point, they still sound really excited about being able to continue Visions and to,
Hmm.
you know, include as many people as they want. I do love, you're going to get to watch the interview in a second, but I really do love the part where it's about the curating of the studios that are going to do. And it's like,
Hmm.
these are, we have the short list and we want them, but, we don't know if they're going to want us. Like, we have to ask them if they want to get involved in
Right.
this. And in my head, I'm like, well, it's Star Wars, duh. But you never
You
really
never
know.
know.
So,
Yeah. Some
so it's
people
really
might
great to
not
see.
even
It's like,
care.
oh, we want them, but who knows if they even care about Star Wars
Hmm.
because they're a league on their own as it is. So
Yeah.
it's really humbling to hear that from Star Wars executive producers about the creators that were involved in Visions too. So
Yeah,
it's eye
that's
opening.
cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's one of those things that you look back and it's like, did that happen? But
Yep.
anyway, let's stop rambling. Without further ado, here's the
Here's the
interview.
interview.
Enjoy it, guys. My name is Gustavo Acosta from Triad of the Force. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to speak with me. This is like so incredible. So excited to talk about Visions. Definitely one of the things that we're looking forward to the most of the year. So let's get this party going. Visions. Hi, thank you so much. Season 1 of Visions was amazing, and it felt like one sweeping, cohesive, and unified symphony. Visions 2 now, we're very privileged to look at it, and it's expansive in so many different ways. It's like all these different composers came in with their own orchestras to do like all these different things, and you guys are like curators, right? That are kind of organizing the Star Wars symphonic series. Uh, do all these like my question for this now is like as opposed to like season 1 a little bit, like do all these studios or and their compositions that they're making, do they all have to like in your mind have like a unified melody, so to speak, or do all these compositions can they have a dissonance within each other?
That's a really great way of putting that. Look, I think we do our best to be good conductors and conduct a good symphony, but we definitely curate these things from a perspective of different, making sure that different cultural voices were represented this volume, making
Hmm.
sure that we went to as many continents as possible, um, by finding different animation styles, because we really thought this could be, we really wanted to showcase the wonderful world of animation, and all the different styles that are out there. And then we had to make sure that the stories weren't duplicative. So we were doing that, but I like the way you put it better. It sounds, it definitely sounds more artistic, but we definitely were trying to put together the best mixtape.
I think then, like, for the second one, you touched upon something which is like a cultural representation, and that's something as a Puerto Rican podcast, like we're all into representation, like having inclusivity and equity, like in all these stories that we're telling. And like with Andor, and specifically now with the High Republic, it really feels like Visions is like that next step forward in having representation, not just in what we see in performers on screen, but also the creators and how they're telling their stories. So you mentioned that cultural representation was important, but what was the process of selecting all these different studios, and how does that inclusion played a part in how they were all selected?
Well, we are big fans of animation, so we definitely all had sort of our dream list that we wanted to consider, but we also it was important to us to try to represent each as many continents as we could. We didn't have unlimited. We had like 9 spots. So,
Mhm,
um,
mhm,
it and then we wanted to find studios that are unique storytellers or visual, have unique visuals and had a real point of view that would have a real different perspective on Star Wars. So that's how we chose the studios. And then we were hoping that they would also choose us and want to be
mhm.
involved and had the time and resources to do so. And had an affinity towards Star Wars to know like, oh yes, we want to tell a Star Wars story. So that's how the selection process went.
It's incredible, like especially with like Punk Robot and Gabriel Sorios in the Stars. Like that's the one that like really hit home for me. Like I basically was almost crying during that story because it's everything that we've been kind of
So
we've been talking on the podcast. So like to kind of see that in a Star Wars story was truly incredible. So kind of tied to that, there's an inherent freedom for all these stories to be like detached from the Star Wars canon, and it's really great to see that. But like in your guys' opinion, what's the possibility for maybe some of these stories to maybe someday along the lines to make some of these characters or storylines do a crossover into the canon world of Star Wars?
I always just say, you never know. We all inspire each other. I think all of this work, is full of imagination and full of they're authentic Star Wars stories, and I think the feeling of them, is definitely influencing, creators, just like their work influences us. What I would say though is that a lot of these stories could fit within,
Mhm,
the timeline if you want to look at it that way. But that's not really the focus of it, and I
mhm,
don't think that really is at all. You know, we don't want to at all lead with that. But I think one of the beauties of fandom is that you get to kind of, curate what matters to you.
mhm,
And I think these stories really, can fit if you want them to. No matter what, they fit in the authentic themes of Star Wars. The punk robot, the
mhm,
in the stars, that's so down the middle, dealing with oppression and rising up and standing up against oppressors,
mhm.
and then just dealing with the fallout of an imperial legacy. All of that stuff is deeply woven with Star Wars, and fits. So it could fit if you wanted to in your own, you know, but that's not the intention.
True. And kind of to wrap up, I guess, like, I'm sure you've gotten like a variation of this question, and season one was incredible, and season two, like, I really loved it, and I'm sure that everyone else is gonna love it when they get a chance to see it. But if there were to be like a season three, what would you want to see in a season three? Now that we expanded the world with season two, so what would a theoretical expansion of the expansion be for a potential season three?
What would you want to see, Gustavo?
I would. Well, that's a wonderful question, because seeing it, like I said, with Punk Robot's story, I want to see like more Latin American stories
Yes.
be told. So, but that's just selfish on my part.
Well, I look. I think depending on how this volume does, we loved the power of shining a spotlight on incredible storytellers from cultures we normally don't see stories
Hmm.
from. I think seeing Star Wars reflected through those new, fresh voices is wonderful. And so, you have fans here in that direction. We also would love to see more anime too. So
Yes,
and none of these things have to be mutually exclusive. So let's right now, I think we're all sitting back, really proud of the work we've done, and hoping it finds the audience we think it can.
perfect, and I'm sure it will, because season one resonated with a lot of people. Season two resonated with me and everyone that I've talked to that have been able to see it early. So I'm really, really excited for everyone to see it and love it, and thank you guys so much for
Thank
taking, not just for organizing this and talking to us, but for gifting us with Vision season one and now Vision season two. We really appreciate it.
yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed the interview. Short
Yeah.
but sweet.
Short but sweet.
Very nice. We didn't want to give too much away, neither did them. Today is May the 4th. Please, all the episodes are up there. Watch them.
Love
Like,
them.
subscribe to us. Let us know what you felt about the episodes, which ones you want to talk about, we want us to talk about, because we kind of want to go a little bit more in depth on some of the episodes.
Yeah.
But it's 9 of them. So we kind of want to know which ones you really, really loved. And Goose, anything to say before you leave on May the 4th?
Hey man, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan.
is.
Vision is amazing. We also got the Young Jedi Adventures to look forward to. I haven't been able to play Jedi Survivor, but everyone says that it's amazing. I
Neither have
finally,
I
I
know.
finally downloaded it, but I have yet to boot it. So we got that. We have so much to look forward to. Really excited. May the 4th today when this comes out. So I'm gonna be out with Chase doing a Star Wars trivia here in Chicago, just celebrating.
Oh, that's
The
awesome. I'm so
Yeah,
jealous.
so well, you should come visit, and then you can hang out with all of us. So yeah, it's just like let's enjoy the things we enjoy. Let's be happy, man. I know it's cheesy, but it's important to sometimes remember that, hey, sometimes it's okay to just have fun and enjoy things. So there might be more surprises of like interviews or roundtables for other Vision stories. So stay tuned for those. But yeah, that's all I have to say for now for May the 4th. Until the next one.
So until next time, we are Triad of the Force. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Watch Vision season 2, please. It's amazing. Just do it. Do it. Watch every single episode. They're short. They're amazing. And until next time, may the 4th be with you.